Goodbye. God, I hate the Jets. All right. So Daris is about to go and get Mr. Oscar from Men on a Mission. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, the number is 646-929-2442. 646-929-2442. Or jump in the chat room. You know, we got some lovely folks in the chat room, our regulars. We got Dub Sizzle. We've got Nick Money. We've got Hot Dog. We've got Jen, Preston, the wrestling / NASCAR love of my life. And, you know, those are, you know, we've got some Hall of Famers in the chat room, people. We've got John. John, people, you got to come in the chat room. John is in the chat room, folks. Let's go. And, of course, Court James and some other guests. So join us, but Daris is back, so let's go.
Yeah, you say let's go, so I'm here with our guest of the evening. You know him as Oscar, the man with all the lyrics for Men on the Mission. What's going on, Oscar?
Yeah, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We're excited. You're returning back to the scene after a long layover from wrestling. You know, people are throwing in rumors like with the Ultimate Warrior that you're gone, you're no longer with us, but you're back here. So where have you been, and what are you up to?
Yeah, when I just got out of wrestling, I just went and just pursued other things. Other areas of television, other kinds of radio. Just other areas of entertainment. Just away from the wrestling scene. And honestly, I really didn't think nobody cared. But as years went by, more stuff started coming out on the internet. More Men on a Mission videos came out. Then I read that, people was wondering where I went, and I read a rumor I died. And then I started reading a whole bunch of negative crap people had to say about Men on a Mission. So I decided enough is enough. I'm coming on, going to get the record straight, make some appearances this year, do some autograph signings, a couple of reunions with the boys, a lot of radio, and just let people know that I'm still alive, I'm still around, and let people know how I feel about it.
Absolutely. And Men on the Mission, the trio, y'all are a bit of trendsetters there. You came down doing the music live there for the crowd, and we're now seeing that today. With R-Truth and other folks trying to follow in your footsteps. What do you think about those guys following your lead?
Well, that's a real good question. When people ask me that, it sends a chill down my spine. I'm honored. When I read a lot of things, I read a lot of things that were said negatively about Men on a Mission, on the WrestleCrap sites about how, we were one of the worst gimmicks in wrestling. These are some people's opinion. There are people that are going to say bad things about Hogan, bad things about John Cena. It goes with the territory. But it's a thing to where, people could say what they want to say. But like I tell people, Mo and Mabel as a tag team, I'm not going to say they were legendary like the Road Warriors or Rock and Roll Express or a Four Horsemen or nothing like that. But as a tag team, those guys were solid. To be their side, the moves they did, the things that they, the punishment they took in the ring, and the way they, moved in the ring and won their matches was phenomenal. And as far as Men on a Mission goes, no matter what was going on the card, whether it was a WrestleMania or whether it was a small show in an armory, it would have been an okay card. But I will tell you one thing. When Men on a Mission came out, for the few minutes we were out there, it was a party every night. I don't care whether you were black, white, young, old, you had your hands in the air, everybody was on their feet, and them entrances were something to behold. But, a lot of times when I look at those old tapes, I'm like, what are people talking about? This is like the most exciting thing of the night a lot of times. I don't care who else was on the card. And the fact that, you had Public Enemy and R-Truth and John Cena used to come out rapping and he come out with his rap music, that's all a testament to what we did. So, it's just with pride that I'm proud of it. What else could I say? I pioneered something that's going to be been copied, that's going to be recopied as long as hip-hop is alive. and you fuse the two together. So it's a great, great, great feeling.
Right, and you say that, you know, a lot of people are doing what you did, you know, a decade before. A lot of people, including myself, until very, you know, the last couple of days getting ready for this, didn't know your music background, where, you know, you've opened for a lot of the biggest names in the business on the mic. Can you let some of our listeners know, before you got into the WWE, what did you do?
I started out in New York, in the same clubs as a lot of the legendary pioneers when rap first got started. I worked with the Sugar Hill Gang and Run DMC and Grandmaster Flash and all those guys. I was on the same shows with them in the same clubs before rappers were even making records. And then on the West Coast side, I was one of the first West Coast rappers rapping. I didn't make records and all that, but I was still on the same circuit they were on, the Ice-T's and the Eazy-E's and the DJ Quicks. And you know, we were all one big Snoop Dogg. We were all one big crew way back then. We all used to hang out, write raps, write music, do shows, and then everybody went different. They started making records in the hip-hop world, and in the 90s, I went into wrestling, but we all kept it tight. But that's how I started. I started out as a rapper with the rappers. It's just instead of making records and getting Grammys, I went into wrestling and did live events and did other things. On the flip side of that, the management that I had, they had a different plan for me. As I was with those guys, I was doing other stuff. I mean, I did a show one time with Frank Sinatra. It was a benefit. He was on it, and I was rapping for some Jewish people. You know, on shows with Tony Bennett, Don Rickles, Milton Berle. I mean, you know, just people that you wouldn't imagine a rapper being in, but that was my get down. You know, I had Jewish management, Jewish agents, and they had me in some of the weirdest places, but I still rocked those people, had a good time. It would be like, I'll do a hip-hop concert on Thursday and a bar mitzvah on Sunday. I'll do a hip-hop show on Saturday and a telethon for arthritis on the next week. I even did the Jerry Lewis telethon twice. So you never knew where I was going to be. And when I met Vince McMahon, who was on with in Vegas, Andrew Dice Clay, the comedian. So it was just a real crazy time, but I got to experience a lot of things in the business.
Absolutely. And you speak on, you know, the lifestyle that you were living there. And wrestlers, a lot of times, you know, I heard that, you know, the Mo and Mabel, they were leaving the meager lifestyle when you came in, so it didn't quite mesh right away. But you recently reunited with those two. I don't know, what's Mo up to now? Is he still wrestling? We know Mabel's been doing some stuff. What about Mo?
He's in North Carolina, and he's ran a couple of independent promotions on his own. I mean, he's had some stuff that he did television and some independents and a wrestling school. You know, he's been keeping a low profile, but, you know, we all breaking out of it because, I mean, we did autograph signing in Levittown, Pennsylvania, which was the first time we all got together in more than 13 years. And we plan to do some more, come together, do some more stuff, not just full-fledged get back into it, but just, spread the love that we still have for each other and let people know that, you know, Coco Beware and Million Dollar Man ain't the only ones that could, you know, do old school appearances. We can get together and do them too. You know, let the fans that appreciate us know that we appreciate that you keeping our legacy alive and just come get out there and, you know, show our face.
Absolutely. I got another question before Shane jumps in, our co-host. What happened? You know, it seemed like overnight Men on a Mission was gone. What happened? That, you know, was there a friction between the team, management? Where'd y'all go and why?
Well, for me personally, I just got burnt out. I mean, I had been on the road probably 280 days straight one year and almost the same the next year. And I just, there were just other things in the entertainment realm that I was capable of doing that I wanted to do. I mean, I did all the pay-per-views, and as much as I came to love and respect wrestling, it wasn't in my blood like other people. Other people are in the business because it was a family thing or because it was their legacy or anything like that. That wasn't the case for me. I fell into it by accident. It was a stepping stone for me just to branch off and try and do other things. So by the time 1995 came, I just the thought of just going to one, not wrestling itself, but the traveling, the thought of going to one more city just made me, oh, my God, I can't do this no more. I got to, I had enough. So I had a conversation with Vince, and I told him a combination between I really don't want to risk getting thrown out of the ring and breaking my neck, and I just really need, to, spread my wings. So he was gracious and let me out of my contract. The way they let me out of my contract, that last match where they beat my behind in the ring, I'm still kind of sour about that. But, it's the nature of the business. And then after that, maybe went on the way King of the Ring. They did some big things. But when Men on the Mission turned heel and when I left, it wasn't the same no more. Nobody could argue that. Men on the Mission was better as a babyface tag team out there rocking the crowd and everything else. When they turned it into something else, there were just two more wrestlers doing it. They didn't have a gimmick. There wasn't the gimmick element in that. And basically, that's what killed it. And then Mabel went on with his skills and stayed for as long as he did because he's a commodity as a wrestler. He's big. He can move. He's had some gimmick changes, but keeping him around and the things he's doing today is well-deserved. As far as Men on the Mission goes, once you took that hip-hop element out of it that made it famous, that made it something different and unique, then it wasn't going to be the same anymore.
All right.
So, there's no truth to, because if you go on Wikipedia, because so many people jump to that, it says that part of the reason why you left is because you didn't care for the fact that the group was going heel, and you're such a positive person. Is that part of the truth, or is it just because you were tired?
That is probably that's one of the top two reasons. When I was in rap, one of the things that I would not do or refuse to do is be a gangster rapper. I used to go to schools, and I just went to a couple not too long ago, and talk to kids about drugs and staying in school and staying out of gangs, this, that, and the other. So I would never be a gangster rapper. You would never hear me performing, talking about shooting this and my bitch and all this other kind of thing like that. And I strongly believe that. So when they turned heel, to me that was going to be the same thing. I wasn't getting ready to portray myself on television in that wide of a spectrum as something that I'm not, as something that was negative like that, no matter how much money was involved or anything else. Sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror and hold to your integrity. And even if that meant I was in a poorhouse after that, at least I could wake up and live with myself. So, yeah, that is very true. I was not going to let anything make me go negative like that.
Okay. That's respectable. Speaking of rap,
you say that like you don't agree with it. Don't
No, I listened to myself after I said that. I realized it did kind of come off like I didn't believe you. My apologies there. No, that I do commend that. You stand up for your beliefs, and I don't really care for the gangster rappers myself. But that just leads me into my next question. Is like, you still listen to rap today?
Do I what today?
Do you still listen to rap today?
Yeah, I did listen to rap today, and there was a guy named Common made a song, and the song is called I Used to Love Her. And a lot of people think he's talking about a girl, but he's talking about hip-hop. And the reason why he say he used to love hip-hop or used to love her is because hip-hop, back in the day when we were doing it and back in the day when records first came out in the 80s, and I understand everything got to evolve, hip-hop was positive and about partying and about, this, that, and the other. Today is how much money I got, how much money you don't, how many girls I got, degrading women, how much weed, this, that, and the other. And I don't like the direction it's in. If I'm one of the godfathers of this game, I'm a disappointed father. If I was dead, I'd be looking down at it as like a disappointed child. And if I was dead, I'd be turning over in my grave right now. I think it's like everything else in the entertainment business. It's become negative. It's become perverted. It's become, it's not what I think the forefathers of that game intended. But it is what it is, and I'm not proud of the Lil Waynes and this, that, in the world, because I feel like you can make just as much money inspiring people than you can degrading the nation. It's a thing to where you got to say to yourself, okay, I'm on TV, or I'm on the radio, I'm on a record, I'm a role model. Now, you'll get a lot of people that'll be like, I didn't get in this to be a role model, I'm not a role model. Well, a role model is not something you choose. A role model is not something you choose. I mean, you're a role model when you get on that television. Now, the kind of role model you are, that's the debate right there. If you're a negative role model, you're a negative role model. And that kid that went out and shot somebody because you got on the record and cuffed everybody out and told them it was cool, you need to account for that. And that's just something that a lot of people don't do today, and that's the state where hip-hop is at today. And I'm not proud. And I'm saying it on the radio, I'm not proud.
Okay. And
you've got kids with their responses. They're like, all right, okay, all right, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, a lot of people when they become celebrities, they then turn around and say, well, I'm not responsible. You need to look to your parents, and that's true. I mean, but kids don't have a choice. It's kind of, it's kind of built into them who they look up to. They can't look at someone and say, no, I need to be looking at my father for, advice on how to live my life. Partial of that is the impact from pop culture. So, it'd be ignorant for you not to say that you have an influence on someone else's life when you're on television or in magazines or bumping, in their car stereo. So, I agree.
I mean, you may not want to, but this is the life you've chosen. If you're a fireman, you in the game to put out fires. If you're a policeman, you're not going out to shoot people, you're going out to help people. So when you get in the entertainment business, you need to be cognizant and responsible for the message that you send because, the children are our future. So we as adults, we all got to be accountable. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, that's not just a metaphor. That's a fact. Everybody, kids, they're not just look at their parents. Kids go to school, they look at their teachers. They go out in the world, and they look at people around them. When they're on the Internet, they imitate the images that they see. On the Internet, on television, what they hear on the radio. So everybody needs to take responsibility for that and keep that in mind of what they say and what they do.
Right, and with that, a lot of fans, a lot of wrestlers have turned their nose sort of at the WWE for what's been held as the PG era, where I think most of it's due to revenue from advertisers more than the looking out for the kids, to be honest. But how do you feel about the product where, right after, I guess, you left the business, it became very raunchy, to now where it's gone back to about the time that you were doing your thing?
Well, right now, there are elements I like about it, but there are elements that I can't stand about it, and the things that I can't stand about it are the things that are unbelievable. Like, take the Nexus, for instance. Now, the Nexus came from NXT. And from NXT, you coming right into with the big dogs. The Nexus are glorified job guys. These are the guys that we used to roll over every Saturday when you watch Challenging Superstars. I mean, let's keep it real. So for them to be able to go in, the five of them, and beat down Randy Orton and beat down John Cena and even The Undertaker every week, that's just not real for me because The Undertaker is a guy that can go into a battle royal with 20 people and clear the ring out of the top top guys in the business, you know, he'd go in and throw everybody out the ring and stand there, and then that gun come out, and he's standing there all victorious. So now, all of a sudden, there's 5 guys that just came from training camp, and they can come in and beat everybody down. That's just not, you know, realistic. As far as, let's talk about the rookies, the divas. The divas are like glorified strippers. They're not really wrestlers. I mean, they're not Alundra Blazers and Wendy Richters and all that other kind of stuff like that. But, I mean, you know, sex sells, and this is, you know, in that direction that they went in. I understand why they did it, but, again, I'm not proud of it. I mean, it's a thing to where, you know, it's a thing to where realism. I mean, get more back into the wrestling instead of so much carrying on with the storyline behind it. And like, let me see, I'm getting choked up now. Like back in the old NWA days, they had a storyline, but when you watch NWA wrestling or wrestling from down south, you believe that wrestling was real. Because I didn't know wrestling wasn't, you know, was what it was until way later on. And it was more realistic looking down there than what the WWF really ever did, because you had real wrestling talent back then. Now, everybody just get in the ring, and you don't see a lot of technical, you know, stuff like you used to see back in the day. But, I mean, I don't know. The products need to come full circle and kind of go back to what it used to be, and then it'll be more entertaining, to me anyway. Okay.
Now, I got a question for you. You talk about the product that's being put out there. I want to talk about the product of one specific person.
Okay.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that how you got in the game, you spit a freestyle rap for Vince McMahon and Randy Savage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Randy Savage released his own album. Have you heard it, and is it any good?
I have not heard it, so I can't comment on it. The only thing that I can say, Randy Savage-wise, is when we collaborated and did that Lex Express rapping video, and he did a damn good, well, I wrote it, but he did a damn good job doing it back then. But I don't know. I mean, I'm never too ahead. Next time we talk, I'll have heard about it, and I'll critique it. But as far as Randy Savage, I heard he was doing something like that. But as far as him doing a full-fledged rap album, I just don't know. I mean, I can't imagine that it would be really good, but I can't critique something I haven't heard, so I'll reserve comment for that for the next time.
All right. Well, I know you've heard the What's Up. Would you collaborate with R-Truth, Shane's favorite rapper of all time?
No, I would not. Okay, let me tell you the difference between me and R-Truth. R-Truth is trying to do exactly what it is I did, and whether he'll admit that or not is his own affair. But the difference is, when I came out every night, like if I was in Houston, my rap was about being in Houston and the Houston fans got up. If it was a Royal Rumble, it was a Royal Rumble rap. If it was WrestleMania, it was a WrestleMania rap. You know, I dug deep and did a freestyle and tailored it to what was going on and had everybody up. He sings that same white-ass dog song every night. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? I mean, come on, man. What's up? I mean, that's it. I had people saying different stuff. Went there, and this was the tagline, but everybody was like, hey, ho, you know, screaming, yelling. It's a big difference. Even though I was more old school in that, it was still a better performance. And I'm not saying it because of me. I'm telling you, if I went to the tape and compared it to, I mean, it was a much better performance. He does the same thing every night, and if he don't change his game, that's going to wear out real quick.
Well, he did, but that didn't last too long. They let him sing some other track, and then we're back to What's Up. So apparently they don't like his other stuff. Maybe that's just the best he's got.
Well, it's not a matter of them liking the other stuff. It's delivery. When you go out, you have to, when you're a rapper, you know, and or a performer, period, you have to go out there and rock a crowd, and it's got to be believable. See, that's what sets, you know, not even talking about the rapping element of it. That's the reason why Lex Luger never became a Hulk Hogan or anything like that, because when you go, even no matter what they tried to do, he never got to that status, because when you go out, you have to go out with a believable energy that people can draw on. See, this is the big difference. Hulk Hogan went out and he believed in his own hype, so that transcended to the people. He believed in the each vitamins and this, that, and the other. When he went out there with an energy that people could draw on. When Lex Luger went out and he just went, and you gotta some believability in all this stuff. If you're having a good time with it, they're gonna have a good time with it. When you go out there, you don't suggest for them to throw their hands in the air. You don't ask them. You got to tell these people. And you got to tell them and smile and have a good time with it. And people will draw on your energy. And that's what makes a great, not just a wrestling performer, but a performer, period.
Well put, I would say. Shane, did you have that rap question, or did I steal it?
You kind of stole it, and I'm loving the fact that he said no, because I feel the same exact way about art. It's a whack song. I don't understand why they continue to make him sing it. His Get Crunk or whatever the hell that was, the second one, wasn't that good either. Let me ask you this. You came out and you were able to change it up, just like you said, based on like the venue you were at and everything. So what was did you do something differently or come across to Vince differently than R-Truth is, why he's only being allowed to sing the same thing? Is there some secret technique for them to have a little more creative control like you did with your raps?
Well, when I met Vince and I just was playing with them and did a rap, they understood right away that what I did, I made up right there on the spot. So Vince knew exactly what he was getting. He knew what he was signing, and he knew what he was promoting. So he knew what the potential was, and he knew what to tell me to do. Everybody can't do that. I mean, you get people that'll try to freestyle and play with it, but that's not just something everybody can do. I mean, that's a gift I can't even tell you how it's done, or how, people ask you, how do you do that? I don't know how I do it. Your mind just works quick, and so people got certain talents. But it was just something that I was gifted with, something that I can do, and I was able to tailor it to what was going on, and that's what made it different. That's what made it more unique than what you see today, because everybody cannot do that.
All right. So with that said, what are you doing now? You said that you're going to be getting back out in the scene, doing some appearances here and there. 2011 is now breaking through. What can fans expect for Oscar in 2011?
Well, right now, under the name Casanova Ace and the company named Ace Entertainment Group, I'm working on executive producing a couple of brand new reality shows that are not wrestling related, but still going to be just as entertaining. I'm going to mentor a lot of new up-and-coming talent in a lot of arenas of entertainment and put them out there, executive producing high-level concerts this summer with everybody from Eminem on down. So it's going to be a real exciting, a really, really exciting year. And, again, I'm looking to get into, making some independent, a lot of appearances, doing a lot more radio and letting people know that Oscar is still around, alive and well, and, getting back into the wrestling scene and, getting that profile raised up a little bit more. Not on the level it was when I was in the WWE, because I don't want that kind of fame anymore. I do not want that. I can't go to the grocery store without getting mobbed. I'm more under the radar now. I can go to a wrestling event and wear a hood on my head and nobody will bother me. But one person see you and they'll be like, aren't you so-and-so? And I look a little bit different now, so I can be like, no, I'm not him, and keep them pushing. But real wrestling fans know, yeah, that's you. I've had my heyday of that. But I have a passionate love for entertainment, so I'm going to stay in this game until I'm dead.
All right. Well, now I looked all over the world, trying to find some more additional information. No Facebook, no Twitter, no MySpace, nothing?
No, I don't Twitter, MySpace, or Facebook. I mean, if I want you, I'll find you. But you guys got my number, so you guys can keep in touch.
All right. Well, we do appreciate you coming on. And you got to get yourself a website at least. That's the new business card. You know, we know some people could help you out on that. But we will be in touch to find out what you've been up to later this year, and hopefully we'll get all three of the men on the mission for a little reunion or something.
Oh, yeah, no, we definitely can work on that. Now, you guys, where you guys out of?
Oh, man, we're out of Detroit, Miami, and Charleston, South Carolina, so we're all over the country.
Okay, well, you guys get, an event coming up or whatever, give me a holler, and I'm pretty sure it's not too hard to get the guys together. We've kept in touch more lately than we have in the last 10 years, and we're all collaborating, and anything going on, we're in it together. So, yeah, just give me a holler.
All right, we do appreciate you stopping by, Oscar.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Oscar, Men on a Mission. He's on a mission to break through in 2011, so we're looking for big things out of him. He says he's working with Eminem and a slew of others, so should be interesting.
Yeah. I give anybody props that, shares somewhat of a dislike for the R-Truth nonsense. So shout out to Oscar. I got backup.
Yeah. You were on an island on your own for a while there because everybody loves R-Truth, and they just love those two catchy words, what's up? Man, I almost broke into a chant myself there. I had to restrain myself.
But he also said some truth too, and you also kind of mentioned it earlier before he came on when he was talking about the Nexus, and that it's pretty much a bunch of jobbers, outside of basically the leader. It's a bunch of guys. Well, I really can't say that too much with the SmackDown guys because I don't think Ezekiel Jackson's going to be a jobber. And I do see Justin Gabriel, possibly doing something in the big card. Maybe Heath Slater gets kaput or whatever, but I agree with it that it's jobbers.
And you mentioned Ezekiel, and I agree also that he could be one of the few shining stars of the plethora of guys, tying their name with this Nexus. But I don't know. I feel like I haven't really seen too much of him to see where they're going to go with him. Injury took a part of that. The other part was he was on ECW, and I don't allow my TV to play that channel back in that day. But I think they dropped the ball with him by not at least bringing the old ECW title to SmackDown when he was originally brought on. He didn't have to defend it. It was done. But it's a trophy, just like Michael Cole keeps his stupid slammy. It's not a ropey, it's a slammy on his desk, as if it means something in the wrestling business. So they could have let him use that as a prop to get him over there. But, luckily fans seem to like him, and, it's not going to set him back too far. And we'll see. It's definitely the stronger of the two Nexus, I think. We'll see. I haven't seen much of, the former FCW champion, Mason Ryan. So, I'm hoping his in-ring skills are better than Batista, and hopefully it's just the looks. So, have you seen any of his clips from? I'm going to check it out over the weekend. But have you seen any of his clips from FCW?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. So we'll find out soon enough, I guess. But